My husband Alan stated at Scrutiny Committee last week that when we were initially told as a family by Councillor John Osman and Councillor Christine Lawrence, when the consultation first began, we were told the exercise was not one of cost cutting. I shook like a leaf as I begged them not to privatise the service. Now, Dimensions are running the service, they are a private company. In all the meetings we attended, we were led to believe that carers and families were being listened to. I'd like to know when the ethos of all of this changed. I've since remembered the one thing that led us to be optimistic about the future of the service. We were told that if the council works alongside another body, the other body could bring in funding that the council couldn't. So this led us to be very optimistic about the future of the service. We thought at the very least we'd end up with was what we had as at the end of March last year. But now we understand the only injection of cash into the service is for staff redundancies. Since last April, my stepson Jason has suffered terribly, mainly due to the fact that 20 of the 24 staff at the house where he lives resigned. We have no faith in Discovery's ability to enhance the lives of service users, and we are now extremely concerned, due to their latest staffing proposals, as to whether they can actually keep service users safe. We have arranged for a meeting with Discovery to discuss this further. Discovery's letter, though, of the 1st of May to families isn't clear that layers of support will be stripped from the service. I'd like to ask, if anything were to go wrong and we are extremely worried, who would be held responsible? Would it be the council or would it be Discovery and Dimensions? We currently feel very betrayed.
Question 7, Learning Disability Service Contract. From Sarah Mainwaring, please.
At the Scrutiny Committee, 9th of May, Agenda Item 5, Learning Disability Service, at the public question time, one of the Discovery employees wrote, "Medication errors are immense and have gone to safeguarding, as support workers are struggling to shift lead and manage agency staff." Stephen Chandler, the Director of Adult Services, responded that he had heard of only a few medication errors within a number of months. How accurate are information received to Mr. Chandler? There is a great concern amongst staff that many incidents of medication errors are not reported to safeguarding, when it has come to my attention 4 errors occurred within a month in one service alone. Also, staff are undergoing disciplinary procedures due to errors with medicines. Mr. Chandler expressed desire to know the real figures. Can the Director of Adult Services ask Discovery how many medication errors incidents are reported on the portal?
The next question, I believe that Ewa
Reports of Discovery staff. There is clearly recurring themes of employees feeling stressed, overworked and undervalued. Unison requested Discovery last month to provide their staff with stress risk assessments. The request has been declined. Referring to the staff survey that has been underway since January. Last week at the Scrutiny Committee, the Adults and Health, we found out that the results of the survey would not be available before September. That seems a long way away to take action. How many staff could we lose by then, and off sick with stress by then? Is the Council confident that the LG service provider Discovery can regain their staff's trust in they fail to address serious employees' concerns and issues within realistic timescales? Discovery have been breaching for over 3 months a trade union agreement with Unison after withdrawing Stewards facility time for performing their regular trade union roles and duties apart from formal meetings. This has not helped with fostering positive industrial relations between Unison members who form the majority of the Discovery workforce and the employer. I have been confirmed as the LG convener last month and have not been granted yet any facility time to be able to fulfil my role. Requests for discuss to reach agreement has been delayed from Discovery's side, leaving me feeling disappointed, under pressure and stressed. FCC stated at the Scrutiny Committee for Adults and Health meeting outcome on the 9th of May that it is committed to making every effort to ensure Discovery's contract is successful. Does the Council realise that to have any chance to achieve this success, success, Discovery have to take their staff on the journey with them and not to distance them by failing to listen to employees and trade unions. They had the first roadshow yesterday put on by Discovery, and from what we're sort of feeding back, the
Can I ask
majority
you
of
to
people
bring
want to leave.
closing comments, please?
Okay.
You've had your 2 minutes.
All right, thank you.
If you want to just close up.
That's fine, leave it.
Thank you, Chair. These are just follow-up questions from the Scrutiny Committee recommendations. Does Somerset County Council have the capacity and resources to ensure annual reviews of individual needs assessments of every Discovery customer is completed and up to date by the 30th of September this year? Will full briefing include provision of the comprehensive data compiled in the surveys? Will a complete set of key performance indicators and performance indicators be published for each month since the start of the contract in April 2017, so patterns and trends can be identified, including areas of activity that require improvement? What oversight will County Council have, progress or otherwise, of the performance of the contract by dimensions? What options will be available to the Council if the reported poor performance continues? Does the Council believe the Scrutiny Task and Finish Group should have investigated and commented on terms of the contract, including staff terms and conditions? Please can you signpost us to an up-to-date business case, and is there a plan B? Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel Bean. I'm turning now to the leader, Councillor David Fothergill.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I'll rise to answer the questions. The questions as submitted rather than the questions as asked. It's very difficult to answer questions if they're changed on the day, and my responses are based upon those questions which were submitted. If Mrs. Freeman would like to submit her questions separately, then I'm sure answers to those further questions can be found. But I rise in the absence of David Huxtable, the Cabinet Member for Adult Social Care. So thank you to our 3 questions. I'm going to take the first 3 separately, then I'll take Nigel Behan's afterwards for the questions, which I'll now deal with. As we know, this contract was the outcome of lots of work by families, staff and commissioners. Its aim has always been to deliver a modern, aspirational-based service that was attractive to both existing and future customers. A key component of this has always been to ensure maximum use of resources. We remain committed to work in partnership with families as we redesign and develop services. I understand Stephen Chandler has already had discussions with Discovery regarding the query relating to medication errors, and has said subsequently that only 4 medication errors are recorded as having reached the safeguarding threshold, but he is also reviewing any medication related information that has been received which has not required a safeguarding response. Finally, this contract has been the subject of numerous questions, has been the subject of several scrutiny items, and has been the subject of a task and finish exercise. It is critical that we ensure the aims of the contract are delivered, a modern, transformed and cost-effective service meeting the needs of local people. This is not the sole remit of people within the service, but it's also the responsibility of the system itself. I turn now to Nigel Behan and his questions. Nigel, as always, a detailed set of questions for which I am grateful, and indeed covering several areas linked to the contract. Those answers have also been previously provided. I don't believe there's anything further to be added to questions that have already been provided to you at previous meetings and to the Scrutiny Committee.
Thank you, Councillor Fothergill. There is, I'm afraid, no opportunity for the members of the public coming back having had your public speaking time. If I were to bend on that,
I just want to ask, where do I submit my questions that haven't been answered? Who do I send them to?
I'm sorry I can't depart from that.